Hello, namaste everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a very important one. That's why I might make it into two halves. So today's video is going to be about Saturn being retrograde, which is happening on 13th of July, and it is going to go retrograde till 27th or 28th of November for 137 or 138 days. So this is going to be one of the most important retrogrades of the year, because whenever Saturn goes retrograde, it definitely has a lot of karma for you to deal with. Before we get started on, please subscribe my channel and also hit the bell icon so that you get regular updates. Also, if you would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link in the description box below, www.anmollastrology.com. Under the reading and unique reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Also, if you would like to learn astrology from me, you can sign up for the online courses under the courses section under the same website. Okay, so let's get started. Before we understand what could be the result of Saturn being retrograde in the sign of Pisces, we need to understand what Saturn does in the sign of Pisces. What is the true meaning of it? Let me tell you first, this is a much needed placement for an individual. This is a much needed transit for the enlightenment and for realizations to individuals and to the mundane universe also. Okay, and we'll discuss why is it so. First of all, it's the sign of Pisces. It's the natural 12th house. 12th house is the house of liberation, moksha. It is the house of your expenses, your subconscious mind. You tend to have two extremes into that house. I always have been telling that. It's either you become too addicted towards something, or you just detach totally from something. That is the sign of Pisces. No one can understand, no astrologer, no other human being, until unless you are a very, very big Maharishi, you are a very, intuned individual, enlightened individual, only then you will be able to understand the sign of Pisces. Pisces is the last zodiac sign for a reason. Pisces is like when you get the flashback from the 1st and 12th houses in one house. That is what Pisces is about. Soul departs from Pisces. So it gets, whenever you must have heard this, that whenever a soul departs from this world, the whole scenario, the whole life of them comes in front of them. The whole life just comes and then the soul goes away. That is what Pisces is about. In a literal sense, Pisces is about realization. It's about you aligning with your thought process. One of the things what the 12th house and the sign of Pisces represents, and especially I'm telling this here with the context of Saturn, because it is about control. It is about discipline. What command do you have over your mind? What command and control you have over your subconscious mind? Conscious mind, it is easy to deal with. It is easy to handle, is because that's your logical mind working. But to handle and to control your subconscious mind, it's actually, you need to be in tune. You need to meditate. You need to find a control of yourself through peace and isolation. Whenever a person gets fed up of their daily routine, what do? They go towards the 12th house. They restrict themselves from the 6th house. They detach themselves from the 6th house and go towards the 12th house. That's why we all take vacations. We all go away for a time. That is what 12th house is about. And there's a reason I'm mentioning this side of Pisces today. So listen to this carefully. So Pisces is the house of expenditure. It is the house of imagination. It is also the house which teaches you your boundaries. But see how contrary it is, that it is also the house which represents the ocean, which doesn't have any boundary at all, which is deep, way deeper than what we can expect or what we can see or what we can even imagine. And it has so many hidden aspects to it. That's why this is a hidden house. This is not visible. Whatever is in this house, whatever planet is in this house, that means that is what is hidden. If it is Sun, you have a hidden personality. If it is Venus, you like to keep your relationships hidden. And that is what 12th house is about. So now if we put Saturn there, Saturn, the planet of endurance, the planet of discipline, organization, career, natural significator of career, karma, dharma. A planet that teaches you what service is, what reality of life is. A planet that is all about teaching you lessons the hard way possible. It is the karka of delays. It's actually slow and steady growth. It is the karka which tests your patience. That's why it is the significator of patience. Saturn would test you to the extremes of your life. But once you fulfill its test, once you pass its test, you get the highest success possible. And that's not something which anyone can take away from you. This is going to be solid. This is going to be long-term. That's why Saturn gives long-term connections, long-term career goals, long-term achievements. So Saturn, when comes into the sign of Pisces, the very first thing it does is it makes you go inwards. It basically gives you the harshest reality check possible. Imagine Saturn, a planet who knows what facts are, who knows what logical thinking is, who knows what hard work is. You put that planet in a space which is about creativity, which is about, all the imaginations, the storyland, the la la land. Do you think Saturn feels comfortable there? Not at all. But what does it do then? Do you think Saturn is going to just sit idle and do nothing about it? No, it is going to set boundaries. It's like you have given Saturn a space which did not have any organization, which was totally clumsy. Now, what Saturn will do is, Saturn will come there, check everything. Okay, this needs correction. This needs correction. Okay, let me start. So it becomes that construction worker who is first going to construct the boundaries. Once it constructs the boundaries, it is going to restrict whatever comes in and whatever goes out. Only what is required would come out. Only what is required would come in. That's what it does. It restricts your thoughts. It makes you learn what is reality, what is of importance. I always say one thing about the sign of Pisces. Pisces is responsible for codependent relationships or dependency, emotional dependency. You will see wherever in your chart Pisces is, you would see you just depend on that living significance with a blind sight. Right? So Saturn is going to make you learn how to open your eyes to reality. Open your eyes to the understanding of what is beneath, what is within you. So it's a major placement which is responsible for making you have the reality check. It definitely makes a person quite fearful as well, because now Saturn is going into the subconscious mind. Saturn is activating the subconscious mind. Saturn is a restless planet. It wants to work. If the fundamental working hours is what, 9 hours, 10 hours, Saturn is going to be working for 14, 15 hours a day. So that's why when Saturn comes into the sign of Pisces or into the 12th house, it makes you restless. It disturbs your sleep. It will bring in a lot of thoughts. A ton of thoughts are going to come towards you. And then the refinement happens. Then the filtration process starts. You will be fearful. How does that process end? You will be fearful at first. You will be try different options. You will be thinking about certain n number of scenarios, and then ultimately you'll reach to a point when you will detach from this overthinking and come straight to the point. So this establishes focus in an individual. That's what Saturn does in Pisces. It sets boundaries. It determines the focus. It makes you determined. It makes you feel the responsibility. 12th house, or the sign of Pisces, is also about addictions and oblivionness. The people who have already been dealing with addiction or who start dealing with addiction, you're going to get some heavy karma associated with addictions. That's why this is going to make you learn that how you need to get yourself out on track. And for the ones who have the habit of oblivionness, carelessness, just ghosting away, just going away, just running away from the problems, this Saturn is going to make you address the problems. And the next important thing, what Pisces does, Pisces is a sign of healing. Not healing from the outside, but healing from the inside. I don't remember the exact quote, but there's something which might resemble to what I say right now, that how you think decides how your health is going to be. There's some saying about that. I just don't remember the words, but this is something which this Saturn will make you acknowledge. If you always think garbage, you think negative, you're going to attract all the negativity towards you. You'll see having health problems. You'll see having, relationships breakouts, breakdowns, whatnot. But if you start thinking positive, it is going to start impacting positively towards your health, towards your relationships. Now, if this Saturn goes retrograde, this Saturn would go retrograde in the nakshatra of Uttarabhadrapada. Uttarabhadrapada, one of the beautiful nakshatras, but very unpredictable. All the seasonal changes, seasonal problems, climate-related problems, anything related to the elements, the 5 elements: fire, earth, air, water, ether. Uttarabhadrapada is the one pack of all these 5 elements. You see climate changes, you see thunderstorms, you see natural calamities. That is all Uttarabhadrapada. So definitely we will be watching natural calamities to be happening in the coming time because of the Saturn retrogression, because retrogression intensifies that situation. So here, one more reason of me not doing that mundane stuff. First thing is that I feel I'm not prepared for it. Second thing I would say is I just don't like scaring people, because I know on a daily basis, I deal with strong people, like people who are way stronger than what I can even imagine. And also some people who are very sensitive on the inside, and they do take this information seriously. Sometimes we might not get impacted from it. And a person who is very, very close to me also has a phobia of, weather. So I see that person, and I can feel their pain because I see that person suffering through it. So that's why I could imagine how it would affect the other individuals as well. So that's a reason I don't like to, you know talk about it. I've become very conscious while talking about it. But I might give a little bit of gist only. Please don't take it like it is going to fundamentally happen all, around the world. But this is something which can be there on the news, and we will hear it out. It could be on different parts of the world, because Saturn might affect a few parts of the world more than the other ones. So coming back to the topic, it is going retrograde. It is going to be stationed from 9:36 a.m. IST, 13th of July, till 2:23 p.m. 13th of July, of course. So it is going to be stationed. So I would recommend you people not to do any important work, not to sign any important deals, not to make any important changes during this duration, because otherwise they might give very stagnant results. Okay. So that's one thing. Now it is going to go retrograde for 137 or 138 days, and it is going to go retrograde in the sign of Pisces in the nakshatra of Uttarabhadrapada. Even if it moves back, although I don't think it is going to move back into the sign of Aquarius, but still it would be in the sign, in the nakshatra of Uttarabhadrapada, because Uttarabhadrapada is starts from 26 degrees 40 minutes of Aquarius and is extended till 10 degrees of Pisces. Okay, so now when Saturn goes retrograde, now let's know about the results of it. When Saturn goes retrograde, or any planet goes in retrograde for that matter, it comes more closer to the Earth. It's a planet which is karmic, which is karmically connected. It means that in your past life, specifically, let's talk about Saturn. If you have Saturn retrograde in your natal chart, it is going to affect you the most. If you have Saturn Mahadasha ongoing, it is going to affect you the most. So, even Mahadasha, Antardasha, Pratyantardasha, anything would work. So, this Saturn going retrograde means in the past life, you might have not going retrograde. If you have Saturn retrograde in your chart, that means in the past life you have misused your authority. You have you have been a liar. You have not been up to your words, up to what you said. Your actions were not like that. And also you must have disrespected an elderly individual or your own old parents. That is the reason why you're born with a Saturn retrograde. So here, in this time, in this timeline, in your present life, you are here to deal with all the service. Saturn retrograde is one of the placements which actually can give you profession or professional achievements pretty soon in your life, because you start way earlier than anyone else, because your karma is all about service. Your karma is about going repetitively around a loop when it comes to your career, when it comes to your service, when it comes to hard work. So that's why you are here to work hard. So when Saturn goes retrograde, and that too in the sign of Pisces, this is your time to stop and reevaluate all your decisions. Anything that does not align with your energy is going to feel as a burden to you. And you would, because of this retrograde energy, you would want to get that thing out of your life, whether it is a unfulfilled or unappreciative job. It is a unappreciative partner. It's a toxic relationship. This time for you people, and of course me too, is about breaking down the old patterns we have been dealing with. Old patterns as well as in generational traumas, as in any old patterns that we have been dealing with in our life. This is the time to break free from them. When Saturn goes retrograde into the sign of Pisces, it's like it gives you a brutal check, brutal reality check of your life. Suppose, for example, you are a person with Venus in the sign of Pisces. You have had a dreamy concept of love. You might are in a toxic relationship, but you are still existing there because you just don't feel like giving up on the partner. Now Saturn is coming over it. Saturn gave you your set of opportunities to get out of it when it came into Pisces. You didn't understand. Now it is going retrograde. Now it will be like, now I'll tell you how to get out of it. Either you get out of it yourself or I'm going to make you get out of it. That is what Saturn says. So basically, Saturn is going to go intense with its addictions and also with its detachments. So whomsoever of all of us needs to get that intensification with attachment, it would make you deal with that and then detach you from it. Whomsoever wants to, not wants, but deserves the lesson of detachment, Saturn is going to detach you first so as to reattach you with what requires your attention. So this is your time to revisit your karmic responsibilities, your spiritual responsibilities, and your debts. You would see many people who have either their sixth lords in the sign of Pisces, or Pisces is in the sixth house itself, as in you are the sign of Libra. You would want to get done with your debts. You'll be very, basically what Saturn does is Saturn is basically amplifying where it is. It is amplifying that position. It is going totally inward. It's like a silicon ball, maybe, right? You can flip the silicon ball and it can, I have when I used to pump while I was I had my delivery. There was what do we call it, milk pump, breast pump. So my breast pump had a silicon inflator. I think that's what we call it. So I could flip it. And one day I found out that we could even flip it and use it and then flip it back and use it. So that's what this Saturn does. This Saturn flips you from every angle so as to give you karma, let you pay off your responsibilities and karma. So the pressure is going to be heavy during this retrogression. The pressure of responsibility, the pressure of a reality is going to be heavier than ever, but definitely the outcome is positive. The outcome is for your benefit. Jan hit mein jari. That's what it is about. So I've written a few points. Let me get into them as well. So it will also burn old patterns around escapism, victimhood, and emotional dependency. So Saturn would require us to develop and work on our boundaries, our healing, our internal self, and our old relationships, anything. Either it is a relationship, or it is a job, or it is any situation that has taken up a space in our subconscious mind. Saturn is going to be like the engineer who's going to go way deep in and search out what is inside. Maybe an engineer or a surgeon. Go, what is the deep rooted problem? And now you have to heal this. Now you have to deal with it. That's what Saturn is going to create. Right? For those who have maybe Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, you guys are going to learn how to say no, how to put up your boundaries, how to tell people that this is the boundary and this is how much you can come in, and this is how much you can take the benefit of me. I'm not going to let you be benefited from my energy. When Saturn comes over these planets of yours, that's what Saturn is going to make you learn. So another concept which activates with Sarasati, why did I say Sarasati? With Saturn retrogression, is that it also affects the previous house. So I always say, whenever a planet goes retrograde in the transit, it is going to affect the current house, it is going to affect the previous house. It affects the previous house because there is some karma that is left. The planet went away from that sign, and then that planet, then Saturn remembered, oh, this was something I forgot. Oh, my old mind, I forgot it. I have to go back and deal with that karma so that you don't get to deal with that karma again. So that's why this Saturn stops right there. It has some karma that is there left for in the sign of Aquarius, which it has to deal with, and then move forward and start with new beginnings in the sign of Pisces. So the reality check, the healing is required not only where Pisces is, but also where Aquarius is. And whatsoever karma you have to fulfill in the sign of Aquarius, you would need the help of the sign of Pisces, because that is why Saturn has gone retrograde in the sign of Pisces. Or otherwise, why would it have done it when it was existing in the sign of Aquarius? There has to be a reason. So the reason that it has come ahead and then looking back forward, that means the karma that has to be fulfilled in the sign of Aquarius has to do something or has a piece of it in the sign of Pisces as well. So both the houses are going to correlate for these 137 or 38 days. So these two things, these two concepts are something you need to understand when you need to know about any retrograde planet that comes in the transit. Right? So now let's quickly go into the muhurta chart. So the reason I'm going to discuss about muhurta chart in this video, and then I'm going to go for another video where I'll be talking about each and every ascendant, because I just thought the introduction part would go way ahead of what the planned time could be. I didn't want to make it a 2-hour video, but that's why I'm doing that in parts. So this is going to be the prashna, you can say, or the muhurta chart, or the tithi pravesh chart for this retrograde. We have Leo. In the ascendant, we have Mars, we have Ketu, and Saturn goes into the 8th house. Saturn wants you, let's just start discussing about it. Before that, let's know what aspect Saturn is receiving. So Saturn is actually receiving no aspects rather than Mars' 8th aspect. Very, very transformative energy Saturn is experiencing with its retrograde, because Saturn already is having Mars 8th aspect for the timeline till the time Mars is going to be in this sign. right, till the end, I think 28th of July. But since it is a part of Tithi Pravesh, it is going to give its eighth aspect to Saturn for whole of the duration till the time it is retrograde. It might move forward, but the results would be like it is giving its eighth aspect. So definitely, here, this chart basically is telling us that this is the time for you to deal with deep, unhealed roots of your life. This is the time for you to seek stability by acknowledging what is deep beneath. Now, since Saturn is retrograde, Saturn will also affect where Rahu is. Now, things or situations would come abruptly, suddenly, sudden changes, sudden complications, sudden problems. And sudden, when I'm talking about sudden changes, they are going to be hell of a transformative changes that you have to deal with. Sudden, unexpected things that you might not have even imagined that would happen in my life. And this also talks about dealing with a collective, dealing with people at large. So, having Saturn retrograde affecting Rahu's placement in the sign of Aquarius, this means that so as to achieve what you desire, you will have to collectively think of mass population. Whether suppose you are in your home setting, you have to think of everyone within the home. If you are working in an organization, you have to think of everyone. So in that way, this is the time where you might feel isolated. You might feel bitters with your confidence, but all of this journey, all of the sudden situations are going to make you learn and make you build your confidence from scratch. So you can see many people would feel stagnant, would feel dissatisfied with their current situations, and they are going to intensely give thoughts to all the things that is happening in their life. And they might feel detached from so many things in their life, whether they are relationships, whether they are their career opportunities, whether they are anything that happens that is a part of their life. Right? Having Ketu in the sign of Leo also makes a person learn about their past decisions. This also talks about, since we have this in the ascendant, this means that Saturn's retrogression is actually going to make people feel quite irritated because of the unexpected changes they might have to experience. Right? So the along with the irritation, it is also going to make you go into your own zone, into research, into deep research of generational patterns. That's what Leo is about. Leo is about DNA. Leo is about ancestors. Leo is also about the progeny that comes up after you, and also what has been there behind you. When Ketu comes in Leo, it's that now you have to first look and heal towards what is behind you and then go forward with what is in your front. So this is the energy that is going to come along with this Saturn retrograde. And since this retrograde is happening in the 8th house for this muhurta chart, and this is 7th and 8th combination, because it is going to activate the 7th. It is going to bring in sudden changes, sudden eye-opening situations that you guys would see either in your relationships or your encounters with other people. Either those people are your bosses, those people are your friends, colleagues, anyone. You will feel the burden of that deception, that encounters. Do you know Uttar Bhadrapada is actually ruled by the deity called as Ahir Budhnya, Ahir Budhnya, who was the dragon creator, who was the serpent of the ocean. Right? And this nakshatra is one of the most dual energy nakshatra. one of the most hidden nakshatras. So Saturn going retrograde in Uttar Bhadrapada, and at the time we have muhurta chart, it is also the Dharakarka. It is also the planet with lowest degrees. You will have to deal with your encounters with others, either relationship or any type of encounter. You have to go deep within and learn wisdom the harsh way. Learn wisdom through challenging and painful transformations. This time is all about you evolving through deceptions, you evolving through so many technologies. I think that is typically different part. So the deception part is there, the generational traumas, healing, all of part is there. But when we talk about technology, it is going to make people very much in tuned into research technology. So you will see a lot of people learning about technology through online mediums and also using it as their career, using it as the part of their career or as their side hustles. So this retrogression is very good for building the foundation for many people's career, and the building of foundation would only be after upheavals, after transformations. So it might not be that easy, but it will definitely be worth it. I remember making the video on debilitated planets that are retrograde and also a reel on this. And there I told very clearly that whenever there is retrogression of a planet, the success is never denied from them for them. They do have success and growth, and that's meaningful. That's more meaningful than any other person who does not have retrogression. And retrogression concept also gives opportunities to the ones who do not have retrogression in their chart, but in the transits it does give you opportunities. Since this retrogression is happening in the sign of Pisces, and it is also affecting the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about recognition, it is all about fulfilling your desires. So it is basically saying that so as to fulfill your desires, you have to see the loopholes that are in that house. You have to see the loopholes of the sign of Aquarius. You have to think of collective people in collective, and then you have to move forward. You have to first research and break the generational patterns, and then you have to move forward with your hard work, with your understanding. All right. So this prashna on a whole is telling us to stand up and deal with all the complications of life, not to escape at all. See, Mars with Ketu in the first house is like just decide on the goal and just go with it. It's a fire energy. It's all about you going up there and presenting yourself. Find out your confidence. If you are the one feeling low right now, find out your confidence, and you can find out only when you go within, when you talk to yourself. At the same time, we have Moon in the 6th house in Dhanishta. You have to deal with your past obstacles, past responsibilities, and past disputes. You have to deal with them. And since Moon is the Lord of the 12th house, you will be able to, kharchna, unko kharch sakte ho aap. You can, let them go. But first, you'll have to deal with it. There might be a little bit of disturbance, a lot of overthinking, maybe verbal fights. And after that, you're done with it. So you need to address your problems. That's what it shows. Then, apart from what placements we discussed, Venus is there in the 10th house. In the nakshatra of Rohini, in the sign of Taurus. It's again about healing. You need to heal your authority, your confidence. So things are going to come in a very transformative and unexpected way, but your need of the hour is to understand, address the issues, heal yourself, and get better, get back on work with your hard work. Understand the reality of life. Stop fantasizing, stop dreaming. And if you are dreaming about something which is worth dreaming, which is worth your career, worth the implementation, just go for it, just act upon it. That's what this is showing me, because recognition is definitely around the corner. See Sun and Jupiter in the 11th house. You would not have to just go there and ask everyone or compel everyone to recognize you. You just have to sit back and relax. And the same Lord is going into the 12th. So people will be getting recognized overly, not just where they are sitting, but they would be recognized all over the world. And how that happens through social media. That can even happen within your work. You just have to give it a try. You just have to get out of all that negativity and give it a try to what you believe in. Saturn, when becomes retrograde in the sign of Pisces, it makes a person more aligned with their ideas, with the implementation of their ideas. Then only they need the energy of Mars, which you are getting there with 8th aspect of Mars. So even if something transformative, even if the baddest of the situations come towards you, just please trust yourself. Be aware of the fact that everything that is coming to your way is coming for you to be, it is like a catalyst for taking you towards what you are destined for. That's what is the timeline for all of us, right? Just a second. Yeah. Now, on the mundane level, this can actually play with the heads of individuals. It can increase the communal disputes, because already we were having communal disputes, especially the India and Pakistan war, which was a kind of, I don't know what it was, but it did happen. And there has been ton of videos I've been seeing online, which are because of communal things. Like recently a video surfaced about a Muslim man, yelling that, why are you preaching the rocks? They hold no value and things like this. And then there was a fight and everything. So this comes when a person becomes quite rigid and stubborn with their belief system. And this happens only and only because of the affliction of the sign of Leo and the sign of Pisces. And both of them are afflicted right now. So those who do have these afflictions within their natal charts, this is going to amplify for them. And then it is going to affect and make them more rigid with their belief system. But remember, Saturn is going retrograde in the Pisces. You need to filter out the negative thoughts and the unrequired thoughts and beliefs. If you don't do that, it would bring in some circumstance that you will be forced to do that. But be aware of communal disputes, be aware of people having extremely rigid mindset. So do not let yourself fall into the trap of such individuals. Whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in your neighborhood, or whether it's anywhere on the internet, in your workspace, anywhere. Okay, guys. So I guess that was all about it. So I hope this gives good insights to you people about this retrogression. I'll be posting the ascendant videos separately, that how this retrogression is going to affect each and every ascendant. Okay, we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care.